10 Best Romantic Anime on Netflix right now. Romance is the evergreen genre. Filmmakers have been using romance central to their story since time immemorial. It has worked in movies, TV shows, and even in anime. With that in mind, today I set out to find the best romantic anime that are available on Netflix. With the emergence of online streaming services nowadays, people prefer watching movies sitting in the comforts of their home. Netflix, of course, has the lion's share of eyeballs. So, if you're planning to watch romantic anime with a bunch of your loved ones, you can just invite him or her to your house and turn on Netflix. This list consists of all kinds of romantic films, from love stories to sad romantic anime, from romantic comedies to heartbreaking anime. Again, here is the list of some really good romance anime on Netflix.
How heavy is that? Light work with the bass on the track, on my face in the back like I'm taking a slap. I need a drink, but it's straight from the tap. And I'm hating the slack, couple man slide around like the hate in the gaff. Please stop talking that trash, cause the vibes in the front all the way to the back.
Number 10. Violet Evergarden, released in 2018. Look, Violet Evergarden is not your conventional romance anime. Most of the anime on this list are not. The anime is about finding out what love truly means. It's a pretty decent anime with a nice storyline. The experience is heightened by the beautiful visuals. I like the character design of Violet. There are a total of 13 episodes in this anime series, and each episode is about 23 minutes in length. The anime takes place in the aftermath of the Great War. During the war, there was lots of bloodshed, and the continent of Telesis has become separated into two factions. Now that the war is over, things are beginning to change, and the continent is starting to flourish again. Violet Evergarden is a young girl who has lived pretty much all her life on the battlefield. She was raised for the very purpose of destroying enemies. But now that the war is over, she doesn't know what to do. She started working at a postal service after falling out with her adoptive family. There she witnesses the work of an auto-memory doll whose job is to transcribe a person's thoughts on paper. It interests her a lot, and she wants to become an auto-memory doll herself. This job takes her on various journeys and adventures, which will lead to self-discovery. Will she finally be able to decipher the words of the only person she held dearest? Number 9. A Silent Voice, released in 2016. Shota Ishida, along with a few of his friends, tries to beat boredom in the worst possible way by bullying a new deaf transfer student at their elementary school. But eventually, when her mother notices this and expresses her concerns to the school, all of Shota's friends single him out, and he is forced to face the consequences of it all by himself. After years of being ostracized by his teachers and classmates, he finally decides to redeem himself by facing his past. What follows is the story of this young boy who tries to look for the girl he had thoughtlessly bullied once and make an attempt to make amends. A Silent Voice mostly focuses on other themes that revolve around redemption and not judging others, and along with all of this, it just implies a little bit of romance. The movie could have further explored the relationship between the two main characters, but it was never really about all that. In any romantic relationship, it's necessary to love yourself first, and that's basically what this anime is all about. Number 8. Inuyasha, released in 2000 through 2004. Inuyasha will forever be remembered as one of the best anime shows that represents interspecies relationships. Based on an award-winning manga, it revolves around a young schoolgirl, Kagome Higurashi, who gets dragged into a well by a demon and finds herself in a whole new alternate version of the Sengoku period. She soon discovers that she possesses a sacred jewel that everyone in her new world is trying to seek. After a battle with a demonic force, the jewel gets shattered into many different pieces and spreads all across the fabled lands of ancient Japan. To make sure that the jewel does not end up in the hands of the wrong people, she sets out on a journey with Inuyasha, a fox demon, to hunt down all of its missing pieces. Inuyasha is one anime that stands the test of time because of its display of a very realistic love story. Instead of solely focusing on the lovey-dovey part of a relationship, it shows how relationships often come with problems that really need to be worked on. To make things more interesting, it also introduces a complicated triangle where the titular character must make a crucial decision. Number 7. Sword Art Online, released in 2012. Sword Art Online is one of the most popular anime which revolves around a game world. This type of anime is quite famous, as online games connecting one individual to multiple across the world is quite an awesome concept. It provides a warm ground for a lot of interesting storylines. Sword Art Online is one of the products of such storylines. It came out in the year 2012 and has gained a lot of popularity. There are a total of 25 episodes in the anime series, with each episode being 23 minutes in length. The anime takes place in the year 2022 when technologies related to virtual reality have become quite advanced. Using the latest technology Nerve Gear, a popular game by the name of Sword Art Online is creating quite a buzz. It allows gamers to create avatars and control them just via their thoughts. Kazuto Kirigaya, the protagonist of this anime, is very lucky to be able to get his hands on the first shipment of the game. But when he logs in, he, along with multiple other players, is not able to log out and must remain in the game until they can complete 100 levels. The creator of the game seems to have trapped the players. Now, he must explore the world of Aincrad, which seems to be set up in a sort of medieval era complete with lots of fantasy weapons and monsters. He must survive in this game for as long as possible, since if you are killed in the game, you die in real life. Number 6. The 7 Deadly Sins, released in 2014. The 7 Deadly Sins, for the most part of it, is a fantasy shonen that revolves around a group of heroes known as the Sins. But apart from all of its action, the anime is also known for its deep characters and their relationships. One memorable relationship that is portrayed in the anime revolves around Bon, who is one of the 7 Deadly Sins, and Elaine. Bon and Elaine fall in love with each other after they spend a week together in the Fairy King's forest. Unfortunately, Elaine gets killed by a demon and is separated from Bon's world. But even this does not stop him from loving her, and he promises himself that he will meet her again. He becomes severely depressed after her death and even starts to lose his sense of purpose in life without her. When he is asked to trade the life of his own friend Meliodas for her revival, he does not think twice before choosing her. While the story of Bon and Elaine does end on a positive tone, another romantic relationship between Meliodas and Elizabeth is now being hinted in the anime. Number 5. Bleach, released in 2004 through 2012. When it comes to the anime, Bleach was ended way before the manga, and that's one of the big reasons why several romantic relationships are hinted in the show, but none of them are truly developed. In the last chapter of the manga, it is revealed that Ichigo and Orihime are well settled and are happily married with a kid. Even the relationship between Rukia and Renji, which was highly debated amongst diehard fans of the series, has been out to rest in the manga. The two of them get married and also have a child named Ichika. Apart from these, there are a few other relationships that involve some subtle progressions for a while, but just ended up getting lost in the overarching shonen-centric story.
JPB, it's only right, baby. Yeah.
Neon Genesis Evangelion, released in 1995 through 1996. You're probably quite familiar with Neon Genesis Evangelion if you've been watching anime for a while. It starts off as more of a typical mecha drama that revolves around saving the world, but with its second half, it completely transforms and evolves into a psychological drama that is full of conspiracies and deep messages. To put it simply, Neon Genesis Evangelion is a masterpiece and will probably claim that reputation for a very long time now. When it comes to romance, the series portrays moments where the main character Shinji seems to have hots for all three female protagonists at different points of time. Some romance is also hinted between him and Asuka, where he always ends up embarrassing himself around her because he likes her, and even Asuka teases him to hide the fact that she is really into him. Apart from this, there are also some warm romantic scenes between Misato and Kaji, who have had a long history of dating. Fairy Tail, released in 2009. Just like all the other long-running anime franchises, Fairy Tail combines elements from many different genres, including shonen, fantasy, and romance. But there's one semi-canon pair in the series that everyone seems to be talking about. If you have seen the anime, you already know I'm talking about Natsu Dragneel and Lucy Heartfilia. From the beginning of the series, the two of them have shared a very close bond as friends, and their entire relationship has been built on trust. There have been instances where Natsu continues believing in Lucy, even when she herself starts doubting her own abilities. Now, a perfect tender moment between these two characters never really panned out the way most fans wanted it to, but many have taken it upon themselves to ship these characters through their very own fanfic stories. Number 2. Naruto, released in 2002 through 2007. Naruto is the kind of anime that grows on you with time, and though it's typical in every way possible, once you're hooked onto this classic shonen, there is no going back. It follows the journey of the titular character Naruto Uzumaki, who's a mischievous teenage ninja struggling to recognize his dreams of becoming the Hokage of his village. In the world of Naruto fandom, there is a very popular term known as Naruhina, which is used for referring to the relationship between Naruto and Hinata. Initially in the series, Hinata was nothing but a meek girl who would admire Naruto from a distance, but to everyone's surprise, she eventually became the love of his life. Her love for him had always been so pure that it was never really an outcome of infatuation. Instead, she was more drawn to his commitment towards his training and his dreams. And finally, in the new series Boruto, we get to see them married with a child of their own. Number 1. Shigatsu wa Kimi no Osu, released in 2014. I know this list doesn't follow any order, but I still decided to save the best for last, mainly because it is so popular, every romance anime fan has already seen it. If you are one of those who has not seen it yet, it is highly recommended that you do so. It is one of the best romance anime out there. They just don't make them like that anymore. Kosei Arima has to go through the tragedy of losing his mother. After the incident, even though he is a prodigy at playing the piano, he can't seem to hear the sound of his piano. So, he leaves it altogether. That is, until he meets Kairo Miyazona, who is a skilled violinist. She begins to open him up and draws him out of his shell, and Kosei begins to play the piano again. It is a wonderful anime, which is also an emotional roller coaster.
Alright everyone, that's it for today's video. Did you guys enjoy this list? Or find any anime you're interested in? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments, and please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the